Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know I promised to try to do daily updates. That is proving very difficult because of cyber libel laws. I have to be extremely careful and I have to dot every I and cross every T because if I don't, I can be found guilty of cyber libel. It was brought to my attention that I am more than likely going to be served. There's a possibility I'll be served because the person who accepts the case, I don't know if that's a prosecutor or what they're called, but they get to look at it and decide if it's warranted. But I don't know with what all's going down, I'm not sure it's going to be warranted. But at any rate, if I do, I've already procured an attorney, and I know that I can prove everything I said. I have complete confidence that everything I said was 100% accurate and true. So I'm not worried about it. What's frustrating is that when someone brings a cyber libel suit against you, as what's stated by Google, this is Google quoting Philippines law, assuming they're right, it costs nothing for them to do, and the state, or whatever you want to call them, they provide the prosecutor. So it costs nothing. It's like a free shot for whoever makes the claim. But whoever has to defend themselves, well, they have to hire a cyber libel versed attorney, which that's not cheap. You might spend in the range of 200,000 pesos to defend yourself. And you probably want to get a good one because if you are found guilty, the minimum time is 6 years and a day. I don't know if that's prison or jail or if that's the same thing here. I don't know, but it's 6 years and a day. And the fine is 50,000 to 500,000 pesos. So be very careful. You don't want to get hit with a cyber libel suit. They're trigger happy on these things. But moving on from that, if not for that cyber libel law that they have here, I would share all 50 stories. I would share all the stories I have. And if you heard just one of these stories, your jaw would hit the ground and you'd say, why is this person not in prison? Why is he still able to walk around? And then if you look at the accusations made by what I shared in the previous blog, someone who did what looks like years of research and accompanied with photographs and links to all the evidence you could want. I don't know how you can have any doubts, but this should seal the deal for you. If there's any doubt of who's a criminal here, this should seal the deal, what I'm about to share with you. We're gonna call the person in this story Tom, just to protect his identity. So late, excuse me, still getting over that cold. Late last week, I get a phone call from someone, we'll call him Tom, and Tom says, hey, Bobby, I saw your video. I just landed. I'm really concerned. I don't know what's going on. I bought some land from you, and I bought a condo in Bongao. And I'm like, you bought land from me? Because this is just late last week, and I'm learning about a fourth lot of mine that's been sold without my knowledge, right? And I never received payment. Now, he supposedly bought this money many months ago, right? But this is his claim, not mine. I'm not claiming he claimed he bought my lot. So I have to be very careful here and dot every I and cross every T. So I said, well, I can assure you, you didn't buy my lot because I was never paid for my lot and no one ever told me I sold a lot. So you don't own my lot. But this obviously seems to be a recurring theme here. Let me add you to a group of people who are victims, and they can share their stories. You can, look at the back history, do some research, and I highly recommend reading this blog that ironically has pictures of the same person we're dealing with and has a back history that goes back for decades. And it sounds like Frank Abagnale and Catch Me If You Can. Only worse because there's testimony in there, if we can call it that. If you might call it testimony, it's someone people have written. There's where it's written in this blog that he attempted to kill somebody and kicked them down a stairwell and punched at their hands. I mean, is that testimony? I don't know. Go in there and read for yourself. But again, it's on the internet. Someone did that years ago. This whole other story, a whole other backstory. But moving forward with Tom. Tom says, well, I landed and Adriaan is getting ready to come get me and he's going to get me settled in a place. And he was under the impression his condo that he bought in Bongao was ready. That was his initial impression, right? So I don't know how you get that wrong. But the next day I talked to him and Apparently it was just a condo he got put up in. So he said it was a miscommunication. Frankly, I doubt it was a miscommunication. I think it was, but that's neither here nor there. So the condo he expected to be done, because what's another recurring theme is that in most of the contracts that are written, it's 6 months to completion, right? So the guy was gone for thereabouts, or many months, close to 6 months. And he had, so in talking to me the next day, he said, man, I went out and I spent the day with Adriaan and Jen, and they're great people. They're just, man, I think it sounded like he expressed to them what he heard about me. And then he was questioning me about the validity of my land. So now he had doubts about me. Are you sure you own the land? I'm like, what? Yeah, I bought the land directly from the owner. Yeah, I would know if I own it. Yeah, I paid for it. I better own it. So it got spun. The story got spun against me, as I was told. And the guy said, well, they're great people. I even bought a car from them. And I said, you bought a car from them? And if you had read the blog, you'd see where I'm going with this. There's he's accused of having a history of renting cars and selling them. So I said, was this car by chance in his name? Did you verify that? And he said, well, no, but it's, normal here, in the Philippines to transfer, it takes time to transfer it, but you can still sell it. And I was like, can you send me, do you have a copy of the contract that you have on it? So, and he takes a photograph of it. He sends it over to me. Best part about it is it's got Adriaan Diedericks and Jennifer Bendijo's name right on the contract, right on the bottom. I've got the proof of the contract. I shouldn't call it a contract. I'm retracting that officially. It's called an acknowledgement of receipt. But I'll put this on the screen. What it's an acknowledgement for is for 350,000 pesos for a white Kia Soluto, I think. And it has the VIN number that matched the car. And now Tom still had doubts, so I said, look, I let me make some phone calls. I'll make sure that that car belongs to someone else. And I made some calls, and I was able to figure out someone did it for me, who was able to figure out who the car belonged to. And the owner was livid. So he WhatsApp messaged Adriaan and says, if you don't have my car back in 1 hour, you're going to be in big trouble. Drop some verbiage in there I'll leave out. And Adrian's reply to that was, I'll sort it out. I mean, I've got the screenshot. The guy, the seller was kind enough to send a screenshot to us. So now Adriaan has to somehow sort out a car that he sold that wasn't his. So the next day, he shows up at Tom's house, and with his imposing stature, that's built like a fucking walking turd, he imposes on this 65-year-old guy with a pacemaker. He says, I'm going to get you an oil change. I'm taking your car. And Tom's like, hey, I don't need an oil change. Just, leave my car. And he's like, no, I'm going to get you an oil change. I'm taking your car. He goes, here's the keys to my truck. And then he takes the car. He just takes it and he leaves. And then now, if we were to fast forward today, Tom hasn't heard from him this has been, 3-4 days. He's had his car, whatever it is. Don't quote me on the exact, that was, I think it was Saturday. That was Saturday, if I remember right. So today's Monday. Just throws him the keys to his truck and takes off in the car. So the evidence is gone as far as the car, but we still have the acknowledgement of receipt with those two signatures on it for 350,000 pesos. And we have the very angry owner of the car. So we go to the police station. I think it was that night. Maybe. Well, I've been really busy. Let's just say one night in the last few days, we went to the Valencia police station together, and in Adrian's truck, which is nice. And Valencia police station says it didn't happen in Valencia. You're going to have to go to Dumaguete to file this. You're going to have to go to Dumaguete Highway Patrol. They call ahead, let them know we're coming. We go there. It's getting late. It's getting late in the day. Dumaguete Highway Patrol is where we went. they said, you got to go to Dumaguete Police Station and file a blotter. Now, it's getting really late at night. So we say, all right, in the morning we'll get up, we go file a blotter. We go to the Dumaguete Police Station. We were able to successfully get the blotter filed. The owner of the car called. He wanted to speak to the police officer. Tom and his partner were there, and I was there. And the charges are criminal. And so we take that, and then we go back to the Dumaguete Highway Patrol, which is separate from the police station. And they take the case. I think it's called, as far, they explained that, you're good. You've got, now, if I understood correctly, there's two Estafa cases, right? And they were accepted, and that means there's people going to jail, right? Now, will they post bail and get out? I don't know. They're going to have to go to court. I mean, they're going to have to somehow clarify and rectify this. And then we got walked over to the NBI office. They said, you got to share the story. So we go to the NBI office and we say, man, we've been putting a testimony together for this guy on so much, from so many people, and we share the whole story. And we already had an appointment with the chief of the NBI, and everyone locally is going, this is already set up. This was already set up for Wednesday, which is tomorrow, by the way, guys. And he said, yeah, this is a special case. There's too much evidence out there at this point. We've got to take this. So he says, come in Wednesday. We'll have you meet with, bring everyone you can, bring, testimony from people that aren't here. And we did. And I have got gobs of testimony. And we are taking a large group of people there. And they're going to take this as a special case. So that's the verbiage we've been hearing. We are working other angles. There are other departments we are going through. We are going through every department you can. We're going, if someone were working on a tourist visa when they're supposed to have a working visa, or if someone were supposed to be registered with SEC and someone weren't, or if I'm just giving examples here of things and laws that were broken. If someone didn't pay hundreds of employees, Department of Labor, whatever they call it here, all of these are crimes. These are all crimes, right? And we want him dancing. We want this person, just too much coming at him. That he's got one attorney who's working for him for free because it's his girlfriend, but she's a young attorney, which means she doesn't know a lot of law. She does mostly notarization. So she's going to have to learn a lot of law real quickly if she wants to give any kind of defense, which I love, because now she's going to be burning at both ends like we have for much longer than we are. We'll wash our hands of this in a few weeks, and that's when the party just gets started for them. So right now, I don't know if they still think they're laughing or they still want to give the impression that they're laughing, but that piece of paper had Adriaan Diedericks' name on it, and it had Jennifer Bendijo's name on it, and it was witnessed. It was witnessed by Tom and his spouse. They watched them sign it, right? They were being told they bought the car, and the car is an acknowledged the what do you want to call it? The contract, the piece of paper has the acknowledgement of receipt was 350,000 pesos for this car, and apparently it is everything we thought it was, because the Dumaguete Highway Patrol and the police station took it and said, we're going to pick them up. It is Estafa. So yeah, this is, this person has been accused of this in the past. I mean, go back and read the history. There's no boundary that he won't cross, right? This person lives for the grift. He lives for it. He wants to be, I think he wants a Netflix series. I do. I think he wants to be Frank Abagnale. I think he wants to be, from Catch Me If You Can. So the nerve of when you're being investigated for, when you've got a team of people researching and investigating you, and it's already out there. You know that they're already digging hard and contacting attorneys, and you've already got multiple lawsuits against you. You've already even lost some. and then you're gonna sell a car that's not yours. Like, the audacity, man. Just the audacity of that is, and you have to give him credit. It was his coup de grace, if you ask me, because he sells a car to a guy that was warned and given all the evidence and sounded convinced of it up until the night until the next day when he went out with Jen and Adriaan. That's impressive. When you're already on guard, that you talk to the guy you bought your land from, and he says, "I never sold you land, man. I told you, you saw my video." I threw all that out there, and he was still able to convince this guy to pay cash for a car, right? Like this, if you don't understand how slick this viper's tongue is, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, he wants to be famous. Personally, I don't think you do something this stupid unless you want to get caught. That's just my opinion, right? But why he did it, I don't know. The only thing I can tell you is he did it, and we can prove that. I've got all the documentation. So that's the update. There's more to come. Stay tuned. We are working hard to get this aired nationally. We're, fingers crossed. We're doing everything we can, and I think you people are going to realize it's a lot bigger than whatever you think it is. So share this video. This will stay up. I'm 100% confident that no prosecutor will even take it, because the police station has the documentation I'm referencing. They have it all. We provided it. Until next time, take care.